everybody, my name is Adriana. I am a writing tutor at the SJSU Writing Center. Welcome back to another Writing Center video. Today I'm going to be covering the topic of writing concisely. So knowing how to write concisely and how to avoid wordiness is really helpful because it's going to help improve overall clarity of your own writing in any subject in the professional world. It's also going to improve readability of your pieces. And if you struggle with wordiness, do not worry. There are many students and professionals of many ages who struggle with wordiness, so you are not alone. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this question. What are some examples of times when concision is important? I want you to go ahead and pause the video just to think about some examples. If you are able to maybe make a list or make a mental note of these, that's going to be very helpful. So take a moment and we'll look at some examples when we come back. All right, so if you thought of abstracts, memos, resumes, emails, or even cover letters, you are on the right track. So it's important for us to be able to write concisely in order to save time and energy. So if you think about it, hiring managers really only spend 30 seconds or less looking at a resume, and most people only look at the subject line when reading an email. So it's very important to write concisely in order to save time and energy. And it also helps you as a writer stand out. So let's take a look at these resumes as an example. The resume on the left looks a bit daunting and hard to read, which might make some hiring managers not want to read it at all. Whereas if you look at the resume on the right, it has a much cleaner look. And we don't really even have to read the resume in order to determine this. So writing concisely not only helps improve your writing, it also can help improve the overall look of your writing. All right, so keep the good stuff, let the rest go. Let's go ahead and take a look at this sentence here. For the first and earliest time in his short young life, Michael was experiencing and feeling the sensations commonly associated with love, an emotion he had never felt before. More than half of the above sentence is unnecessary. So, if we get rid of everything but the good stuff, we are left with, for the first time in his young life, Michael was falling in love. In 13 words, the above sentence expresses the same idea as the original sentence, which was 29 words. So, writing winning sentences, we're going to focus on a couple of topics that having knowledge on is really going to help us overall write winning sentences. So those topics are going to be nominalizations, to-be verbs, agents, meaningless words and phrases, and redundancies. So finding and eliminating nominalizations. A nominalization occurs when we turn a strong verb into a noun. It's a weak verb that is plugged in instead. As we can see here with this little graphic, a little indicator is the TION at the end of a word. So to continue, let's look at some examples. I have to make a decision. This can be revised to I have to decide. This is 6 words versus 4. The lower score wins, like in golf. I put an animation in the slide. This can be revised to I animated the slide. This is 7 words versus 4. The lower score wins again. Okay, so now looking at to-be verbs. Anytime you have a to-be verb in your sentence, stop and ask yourself, is it really necessary? If the verb is defining or describing a state of being, it's usually fine. So, a couple examples. A horse is a solid-hoofed, plant-eating domesticated mammal with a flowing mane and tail. He is tall. If not, it probably needs to go. So let's look at some of those instances. The expectation of the team is to win the game. This can be revised to, the team expects to win the game. This is 10 words versus 7. Again, the lower score wins. Another example, the fundraiser's aim on Monday is to raise money for the cause. This can be revised to, Monday's fundraiser aims to raise money for the cause. This is 12 words versus 9. The lower score wins again. Eliminating clefting. When you begin a sentence with a dummy subject, such as it or there, you add words to the sentence which can shift focus and emphasis. So ask yourself, is the cleft pattern worth it? Is the cleft pattern necessary to get your point across? Here's an example. There is a good chance that the professor will give us a quiz today. This is 14 words. The word there doesn't refer to anything, therefore it can be eliminated. So if we revise the sentence, we would say, the professor will probably give us a quiz today, which is 9 words. And if you can see, probably is underlined. I want to make a note that it's okay to replace words. For instance here, we replaced good chance with probably, which overall makes our writing a little more concise. So if you find that switching some words will still make sense, are still relevant to your sentences, and make your writing more concise, then it's always best to do so. Okay, eliminating passive voice. Active voice is usually more effective than passive voice, and it's always more efficient. So, for a sentence, we could say, we started the fire, which is 4 words, but if we wrote it in passive voice, we would say, the fire was started by us, which is 6 words. So the first sentence has the lower score because we wrote it in active voice. All right, agents. Most sentences need an agent, which is someone or something that completes the action. So, for example, we have a sentence that says, concise writing should take place. This is 5 words. If we add an agent, we would say, you should write concisely, which is 4 words. Adding an agent lowers the sentence's score. Okay, so meaningless words and phrases. There's another way to keep the good stuff, and this is by cutting meaningless words and phrases. Some of these examples might be actually, the fact that, kind of, in my opinion, and basically. We also have redundancies. These are back-to-back words that mean the same thing. They add no additional meaning and can do more harm than good. Some examples of these are final outcome, sudden crisis, past history, free gift, each individual, and future plans. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our first activity. The directions are as follows. Eliminate the wordiness from the sentences on the first page of your handout. Write down the number of words in your final version of each sentence. So feel free to pause the video and work through activity number 1. We'll come back, and when we do, we will go ahead and look at the answers. All right, so hopefully you feel comfortable with your answers. We'll go ahead and review them now. So for number 1, Lance was incarcerated in San Quentin State Prison. We were able to revise the original sentence from 11 words to 8. Number 2, Max presented facts. We were able to revise the sentence from 5 words to 3. Number 3, my favorite meal is my mom's chicken and rice. We went from 15 words to 9. Number 4, my dog is playful and happy. We went from 8 words to 6. And number 5, for tonight's homework, I will write concise sentences. We went from 13 words to 8. So now we're going to take a moment to do activity number 2. The directions are as follows. Revise the paragraphs on the second page of your handout to eliminate wordiness. Write down the number of words in your final version. Take a moment again to pause the video and complete the activity, and when you come back, we'll go ahead and review the answer. welcome back. We're going to go over answer number 1. If we eliminate the wordiness and write concisely, we should be left with, most people are scared of public speaking. In a recent survey, researchers found that most people are more afraid of public speaking than they are of death. This means that at a funeral, most people would rather be lying in the casket than giving the eulogy. We went from the original paragraph being 62 words to the revised paragraph being 46 words. Okay, so if you enjoyed today's workshop, you can find all of our workshops on our website, as well as you can register for a Writing Center account to book any sessions with tutors. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email us at writingcenter@sjsu.edu. And thank you for joining me for Writing Concisely today. I hope you have a great day. Bye.